Hello, Seekers. I'm recording this on the last day of Pluto in 29 degrees Capricorn. Yes, it will regress back to it between September and November 2024 for 2-3 months, but basically we're entering it. Pluto in Aquarius. I want to talk about what Pluto moving into Aquarius from Capricorn means on another deeper aspect. It's not to contradict the other interpretations that are out there. They're very valid and very true by the most parts. There's just something that is very important for me to add. If you really want to have proper understanding, deeper understanding, and vaster understanding, watch my 13th element New Earth prophecy, because it touches on that from other angles. So Pluto is cardinal Earth. I'm sorry, Capricorn is cardinal Earth. It's very condensed, physical, matter-based energy. So Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, of destruction and construction, of profound changes, has been in a sign that is very condensed. So the changes were very started underground and underlined, and have been very physical and felt and intense, right? And often quite painful, maybe physically, or maybe just in ways that are very tangible and slow. Capricorn is also the structure, the system. So from an individual perspective, which is anywhere from your bones structure to your bank account, or the skeleton of your home, to societal structure, our leaderships, our organizations, etc. The roads, okay? The skeleton of your car, all of these things. Now, Pluto, yeah, it's about death and rebirth and change and so on, but it's first and foremost about purity. It's the planet that is very associated with the soul, like the cleanest form of our, existence. So why does it play out in such extreme ways? Because the process to get to purity is alchemy. It's burning the aspects and layers of us that are no longer relevant, and allowing new life to grow, or at least to our actual pure essence to be expressed and shown underneath all the layers that cover it. So Pluto is really about the soul and about purity, but here in the 3D and on Earth and in reality, we experience it as destruction and construction, as death and rebirth, and as extreme intensities, because that's just the process within the world of duality, to get to that purity. So Pluto is a very important energy, right? It's really alchemy. So is Scorpio, the sign that Pluto rules. It's very much so about that. Scorpio is about purity, right? Okay, underneath all the other aspects that I just described about Pluto that are very similar. Okay, so Pluto has been in Capricorn, working on purifying the structure, on destroying and rebuilding what needs to be corrected and rebuilt. And it's been slow and painful, but it's been mostly earthly and underground. Now, Pluto is moving into Aquarius, which is an air sign. So it's quite literally coming up from beneath the surface, right? The skeleton is beneath the skin, even beneath the flesh. From beneath the surface, 29 degrees through the flesh and skin painfully, up to the air. Now it's quite literal, coming out into the open. In order to reach also purity of the soul, we must also clear out anything that burdens our karma. anything that is negative when it comes to our actions, immoral, evil. So Pluto is literally now have been and now really taking everything that is rotten, that has been hiding beneath the surface, in the skeleton and underground and hidden. Sorry, I want you to see the view, not just my face. Hello. Oh, you know what? Let me just show you this beauty. Look at that. Isn't that? Look at that. So it's literally taking out the corruption of the soul that manifests as the corruption of the system and of organizations and of communities and of individuals. Countries are made of cities, that are made of neighborhoods, that are made of homes, that are made of family members, that are made of individuals. Micro to the macro. Okay, if a system is corrupt, it's because the individuals in it are corrupt. And if it's a democracy-based system, then it means that those individuals are a representation of the community in which that system is, or organization, or whatever, or leadership, or whatever the case may be. So within democratic societies, any corrupt organization or leadership is also a representation of the people. And this is where you're going to get triggered and might not like what I'm about to say. This doesn't necessarily apply to dictatorships, of course, because that's when often, the leadership rises against the will of the people. It's complex. We're not going to go into that too much, but you're getting my point, right? So now that Pluto, I'll circle back to it. Now that Pluto is moving from the 29th degree to the 0 degree Aquarius, the sign of, air, knowledge, it's above ground. It's movable, even though it's fixed air as an Aquarius. And it's also the sign of communities and of the people. Now, how often do you hear Pluto moving into Aquarius will be power to the people? Are the people pure? Well, no one is fully pure, but you're getting my point. Is the community, the people, are in higher consciousness, are in goodness or in morals? Do they operate from that as groups and as individuals? If so, it will certainly grant them power. If not, if the corruption lies in the structure, in the bones of the communities, of the people, and of the individuals that make them, then it will come up into the surface, into the air, and be exposed because of the air element, because of Aquarius. And if you're very new to this world, Capricorn is an earth sign, cardinal earth. Aquarius is air sign, fixed air specifically. But still, let's just not focus on the cardinal and fixed right now because it's not as relevant, but let's focus on the earth versus air. And you can understand yourself the difference between the elements. So it's going to come into the open. It's going to be exposed. So now, in Capricorn, Pluto has been dismantling the corruption and the lies and the hidden dysfunction of corporations, leaderships, governments, organizations, so on and so forth. But as it moves into Aquarius, first it's going to go from beneath the surface already up into the surface. It's already started in the 29th degree. You're already seeing a lot of things quite evil, quite literally, crawling out from underground to above the surface. And it got exposed for it. Right? It got exposed for it. And that is it's a very painful, hard, felt as negative process. However, it is leading to the process it is a process that is leading to something positive, because you can't clean something that you don't see, right? You can't heal a wound that you don't acknowledge or don't know of, or an illness, and you definitely can't clean dirt that is hiding under the rug, right? Or under the furniture or whatever. You got to expose it first to clean it first. So now it's exposed and it looks terrible. And the 0 degree Aquarius is going to look worse. everything that people are still not coming to terms with and are still somewhat in denial of, there will be no denial in the 0 and 1st degree of Aquarius. Like, it will be so apparent, the good versus the bad, the right versus the wrong, the corrupt versus the non-corrupt, the dirt versus the clean, and so on and so forth. Sorry. Now, as it's coming up to the surface, it's going to point to people who partook in it, societies that partook in it. Okay? So if, for example, the corruption that is exposed and now going to be dismantled was based in dictatorship of some sort, or control. Now you can think about it on global geopolitical, political terms, but you can also think about it as personal terms, right? If the leader of the household, right, has been abusing power in his own life and has been abusing his family or his environment, okay, that's exposed, but did he force himself, hence making his environment victims? And it's a very clear, good versus bad type of situation. Or did these people place him or her, whatever the case may be, on that pedestal of control? Right? What is going on? What is the details behind what is now becoming evident and what is now becoming clear? And this will play out across the world, across societies, on a collective level and on an individual level, okay, in different fields. So it's going to look and feel very messy, and like the part where you expose all, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look for the best light, like the part where you expose all the dirt in the house, but you still haven't cleaned it yet. So a moment ago it looked a lot better, and now it looks terrible. But this is a process where you're starting to pour soap and clear it all out. So the first few degrees of Aquarius are going to be messy and dirty, but again, it's not to hurt anyone, quite the opposite. It's to heal, to clear, to make room, to allow expansion of consciousness, to allow broader frequency, right? Expansion of awareness and consciousness and of the earth and 5D and all that jazz. So right now, we are not in 5D, guys. When we're going to move into 0 degrees Aquarius, we're still not in 5D. We're not even in 4D. No, I hate to break this to you. We are in the slingshot. So before the very sharp, fast expansion and acceleration and higher dimension and all that jazz, we're not moving there right now. That's not what's happening. Right now, we are taken back to the underground, and that's what has been happening in the past 2 degrees of Capricorn, and this entire time, but it's been very intense, right? Especially now in the 29th degree. Look at world events, etc. Okay? But also education system. It plays out in so many fields. So it's the slingshot. It's going back. It stretches. It's painful. It looks into the depth of things. It exposes all the dirt. Okay, now we're cleaning it. And once all that really lower condensed frequency of heavy karma and of evil and of rot and of corruption on a very insidious level, guys, if you think things look bad now, just wait until the things that people that you thought were like your heroes, you're going to find out that they're like cartoon villain. All right, that's how bad it's going to look like and feel like, and you're going to have to take accountability for whatever your part was in it, if you had a part in it. But you can't automatically excuse it or say, no, I didn't have a part in it. You got to take a moment, especially if something or someone's are exposed in a way that those are individuals or organizations or whatever the case may be that you have supported and believed in. You got to go within. What was about you that was supportive of them, and why? What is it that you missed? And whatever it is that you missed, what does it reflect? Sorry, I don't know if that sound bothers you or not, or you can't hear it too bad. And what is it that it showcases that you missed within yourself? Because whatever crumble of seemingly exterior societies, organizations, governments, leaders, whatever, that is reflective of the people that put them there. And not only put them there, have allowed them to be there, and have enabled them, and have believed in them, and have supported them, and whatever. That includes every single person that is a part of the people that Aquarius represents. So this is not, like, you know how we keep talking about Pluto in Capricorn exposes all the corrupt aspects of Capricorn, all the shadow side. But when we talk about Pluto moving into Aquarius, we're just talking about the power that it will give to the light side of Aquarius. There is shadow to Aquarius too. And what it will do before it will give power to the light side, it will expose and take power from the shadow side of the people. Guys, every time you think of people versus leaders as something completely separate, you're deluding yourself, especially considering that the progression of world communities to democracies. Of course, not every country is a democracy. Half the world is still under the darkness of dictatorship. But if you're in a democracy and you keep talking in like leadership versus the people kind of terminology, it happens a lot in the spiritual community. The governments that do this to the people, now power will be given to the people and taken from the governments. Like, I'm sorry, but you're not here, or you're not aware, and that's okay, because it sucks to be aware of inner darkness. So I'm not judging you for it. I'm just casting a light for you to consider, for anyone watching this to consider. So it's not going to be that nice for the people. The people are going to be seeing into themselves and into other people's, and recognize and need to recognize their share of it, their part of it, whatever is being exposed. And a lot of things are going to be exposed. It's a collective thing. If you want to know specifically how it will apply to you, see where you have the Capricorn Aquarius cusp in your chart based on your rising sign. But you can also go by your sun sign and your moon sign, because this is a soul level process, and sun, moon, and rising together represent the soul. You can go by your fortune, your point of fortune. That is a calculation between the sun, the moon, and the rising. In your chart, it looks like a circle with an X in the middle. Okay, so you can also treat that sign as your rising and see where you have in relation to that Aquarius, Capricorn, and ultimately Aquarius. So Capricorn 29 degrees, 28 degrees is where things were pulled by force from underground up into the surface for us to acknowledge, to be aware of. Aquarius is where you're going to take accountability for your part in it, and how everything is going to be seen. As clear as the snow. Okay? As clear as the snow, as clear as these mountains. That's how clear it's going to be seen. And so to anyone out there is like, oh my God, yay, power is coming to the people. Depending on which people. No, seriously. And when I say which people, I mean like their own accountability. It's based on people's actions. Actions, not ethnicity, religion, race, nationality, and so on and so forth. Actions. What have they been doing as a collective or as a culture that has built and created this corruption? Because that is just that leadership corruption is just a manifestation and a reflection of inner individual corruption. Again, symbol terminology: that has voted, that has placed, that has supported, that has just, given the reins, if it's like on an individual level, family level, work level. Maybe it's at your job. Maybe you have a very corrupt, terrible boss that has been discriminatory to other employees, but it wasn't against you, so you kept quiet. First they came for the Jews, but I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't speak up. But then once they came for me, there was no one left to speak up for me. It's a famous poem. That kind of thing. So anyone who has been actively supporting corruption or enabling silence next to corruption, they'll be also accountable. I'm reiterating, I know, but guys, you got to get it. So you got to do the work now, or at least prepare. And once again, this is not to be negative. This is forewarned, forearmed, and also this is the truth of the process. Anyone who tells you that this kind of talk is negative or low frequency, they're unaware. And they are themselves low frequency. I don't really like that term, but if to speak in that terminology in a way that makes it more easier to understand. Also watch my 13th element, The Truth on High Vibes, frequencies, and etc. I also go into a lot of detail there, and I think it could be very helpful to understand the full scope of things. Anyway, so good luck. Thank you. Individuals that have been operating from actual light, not from denial disguised as light, not from cowardly silence disguised as, oh, I'm peaceful, but from actual light. Meaning facing corruption, facing evil, and saying, no, this stops here. You can't move over there and cause more harm. Right? Because if I say, oh, there, go ahead, evil, carry on with causing harm, because I'm just peaceful and sweet, or I'm just, oh, I'm sorry, my hair, or I don't know, I'm just high vibe, whatever. That's collaboration. It's not spiritual. It's not high and mighty. It's not taking it emotionally, not lowering the frequency. I know I see a lot of spiritualists out there saying these things. These are dangerous things to say. These are untrue things. These are deceiving things. I don't think most of them are doing it on purpose. The great majority are not doing it on purpose. It's a subconscious mechanism of denial for inability to act based in fear. And then they beautify it and call it spiritual or harmonious or peaceful. And it's sad to see that people who talk about awareness have so little awareness. So I shouldn't laugh, but it's like mirror with love. So yeah, so Pluto moving into Aquarius, exposure up into the air of truth, uncomfortable truth, both of leadership and of the people, most especially the people. If up until now organizations are held accountable because of that's what Capricorn represents, now people are going to be held accountable, be it by human actions or karma. Stay magic, stay true. If you're new to the existential shift, be sure to subscribe. I love you.